this is the ERP space you play in. We're now moving into the age of AI, and I think you've said that a lot of the mistakes that enterprises, governments make with the ERP implementation, we're just repeating them in AI adoption. How do you see that? How do you see AI?
I mean, it's a generational tool, right? Mark, I tell my people all the time, I haven't been this excited since I discovered HTML in 1999. I was late to it, but you remember the time when you could build things by yourself and it would show up on a screen, and if you know how to do this. And so I've been tinkering a lot with AI, with OpenClaw. We built agentic workforces for ourselves within the company. And it's an exciting time. On the flip side of it, it's also an exciting time for private equity, VCs, and marketing firms, right? So there's this huge gap between what's actually available, what these products can do, and what the marketing says it can do. So it's a marketing race more than it's a tech race. So I went to this GovAI conference last year in San Jose. There were about 400 attendees, maybe half of them were vendors, and all kinds of tall claims. And keep in mind, the audience, the people they're trying to sell to are governments. By design, they're not on the bleeding edge. They're just thinking about moving to the cloud in 2025 and 26. And here you are trying to sell them, buy my AI, it's going to solve all your problems. Problem number one with that, right? And is that an AI deployment, even if it's a chatbot, it's an implementation of its own. If you don't have the data, if you don't have governance, if you don't have the outcomes mapped and what business processes you actually want to use these tools for, a product's not going to do it for you. So when I say the same mistakes are being repeated, it's by going product first. It's not thinking through like a business person, like, okay, what is this going to do for me? Is it safe? Do I even have the goods to be able to make this useful? And that's where the market is. I think it's the same way with commercial, maybe a little more advanced, where people with profit motives can take chances and really design the pilots that work for them. The other thing not working too is the pilots are not designed well. And in studying the AI wave in the market, I think people that have picked a lane trying to solve a specific problem with AI are doing much better than those saying, I can solve any problem for you. Yeah, you can, but I don't trust that. So in a nutshell, that's where I think it's very exciting, but the principles don't change. It's just, at the end of the day, it's software implementation, it's software development. And what are you producing when you say we have an AI product? You either built it using AI, like Replit or Cursor, or two, there's one little piece of there where it makes an LLM call and analyzes something. What's an AI product? Unless you're building your own large language models or something that's going to help other people do stuff. So it's a confusing time for people that are not in the know.
And there's quite a few still, I can imagine, especially in the government sector. Then what really interests me, and of course a lot of them written about this, about the big consulting, McKinsey having, I forget the number, I think it's 30,000 AI employees. I think that was the number they said. Accenture losing 60 billion in market cap because of AI. IBM now losing a lot of market share as well because Claude can do COBOL modernization. This is really going to impact that whole market. How do you see this playing out? Where is it going to go?
Well, and as a consulting firm owner, that worries me, right? Because traditionally, labor hours times a rate is your revenue. Now, if we start producing agentic workforces that do the work for our clients, two things happen. I'm losing revenue on the traditional cost model, and the client has to pay less because they're getting the whole premise of consulting based on hours is getting blown up. And you're seeing that in these layoffs. We've taken a slightly different view of this, right? We're not going to look. 2 years ago, if you had asked me, what do I see as a successful end of 2025? We were on track to grow the firm we would have ended last year with 100 people, right? And traditionally, the more people, the more revenue, that therefore your the size of your organization. We ended with 50, and we added maybe 10 along the way last year. That's because we figured out a way to automate a lot of the stuff. Now, how did we do this? We've built our own engines and rags that allow us to produce like a government proposal within 9 minutes using our institutional knowledge. It used to take 30 plus hours. And we're now turning that same engine into a delivery engine where the premium is going to be on senior, seasoned people that can deliver the deliverables. Why do people really hire consultants? They don't hire them because we give them fancy 200-page reports. It's because we bring experience. We bring blamability, right? Consultants are the first ones to go when something goes wrong. And it's not an advertised service we offer, but it's an unspoken rule. And if you can keep those elements while the deliverables get made, you're taking away 80% of the time it takes to produce that work. And 20% of it is the face-to-face, the interactions, the meetings, the presentations that the executives on the client side really want. And so we're trying to preserve that while keeping high quality and security in mind. And unfortunately, it's not an easy avenue like it was 22 years ago for me to walk in with no experience into a consulting firm and grow with it. Those opportunities are shrinking, which is a sad thing, but it's business and this is how it's going to be.